Brought to you by GatewayCitySavers.com.
Softli's Scouting Report, hosted by Cliff Saunders, exclusively on 101ESPN.com.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Softli Scouting Report here on 101ESPN.com. Joined as always by Tony Softli, our 101 ESPN NFL analyst and former Rams Vice President of Player Personnel. I'm Cliff Saunders. Tony, noon kick Sunday in Detroit. Rams, Lions. Rams have won 2 in a row. Lions are 0-4. You're Steve Spagnuolo. How do you stop this from becoming one of those letdown/trap games?
Well, Cliff, what you have to do is you have to sell this as if this is a Super Bowl type game, a playoff type situation. You know, the Detroit Lions are 0-4. They're very hungry to get their first win, and you know what? They don't want it to happen to them on this Sunday, so they're going to have to take care of business. You know what? They want to continue the divisional win streak. They want to, continue the upward mobility in the division, ascending, not descending. They don't want to take a step back. That's what they do not want to do.
Battle on Sunday of the 2 top picks in the draft. Sam Bradford for the Rams. We know how he's fit in, obviously. And Ndamukong Suh of the Detroit Lions. How is he fit in there?
Well, you know what? He's doing well. I think the first couple of games, against Chicago, they double teamed him a lot. Now they're starting to single team him. And you know what? If you don't put a double team, a hat on this guy, and 2 guys on one, he's going to get his plays. He's going to get his production. He's starting to come on with the sacks. I think he has 13 tackles, 3 sacks. So his production is coming. That front 4 puts a lot of pressure, and it's a lot to do with Ndamukong Suh.
The Lions have had a couple of really tough losses. How deceiving is that 0-4 record for Jim Schwartz and company?
Well, you know what it really comes down to is that, penalties and turnovers has hurt this team. In the red zone, in the middle of the field, on the other opposite end of the field. I mean, wherever it is, it's turnovers and penalties are really starting to hurt this team. And it's something like what happened to the Rams early, where they were biting themselves. Missed field goals, blocked field goals, penalties, stupid penalties. That's what's going on with this team. They're a good football team. The record does not show it, but I'll tell you what, they will be after these guys on Sunday. They're going to give the Rams everything they need, and don't be surprised. Don't be surprised.
Another game where Shaun Hill is going to have to start at quarterback for the injured Matthew Stafford. What are the differences between those 2 quarterbacks? Well,
I think right now health. I think, Stafford can't stay healthy. He's been injured last year. He's missed 4 games this year, and it sounds like he's going to miss number 5. The other thing is that Stafford has a much stronger arm. But you know what Hill brings, the veteranism, he brings the experience. He's very intelligent. He doesn't make stupid mistakes. He'll throw the ball away instead of taking a sack. And you know what I saw the first 4 games is he's a better runner down the field than I gave him credit for when he was at San Francisco. This guy runs the ball and he doesn't slide. He goes after it. He tries to get that extra yard like a running back. So he's aggressive that way, and it's really been kind of impressive.
Let's talk about some of the weapons that Hill has at Detroit to play with. Of course, when you talk Detroit offense, you got to start by talking about Megatron Calvin Johnson.
Well, Calvin Johnson's the guy on the outside. He is your deep threat. He's your all-purpose wide receiver. He can go across the middle. He can go out on the out routes. He can double post you. He can do a lot of things down the field. He'll even out-jump you in the red zone. But they have a lot of other weapons. Jahvid Best at running back. They have Brandon Pettigrew at tight end, another tight end, and Tony Scheffler. And don't forget about Felton, the fullback that does a very good job in the one-back set and also out in route. So they have some weapons. Scott Linehan, former head coach here at the Rams, he has weapons there. And he wishes he had Stafford, but Hill's going to be okay. You're
Steve Spagnuolo, you're Ken Flagel, you're the defensive coordinator of the Rams. How do you cover a guy like Johnson, who is a physical mismatch with his size, given his size and strength?
Right. What I'm going to do, Cliff, is I would bracket him. And what that means is I put a corner, I put Bartell up in his face because Bartell has nice length. He can get his hands on him, slow him down on that release off the line of scrimmage. I put a safety over the top. That's called bracket. I'd also drop that linebacker off in his position out into that flat to take away that slant. So they're going to do that. What you can't defend is that jump ball in the end zone, in that red zone jump ball. He's been very effective at that since he's been in this league, and look for that to be maybe one of the differences in this game.
There was speculation that the Rams really wanted Jahvid Best and that Detroit jumped him in the draft, getting back into the first round to pick the former Cal star running back up. What problems does he pose? Because he's had a great start to his career.
Well, I'll tell you what, he gets going quickly. And what I mean by that, as a runner or as a receiver, once he gets in space, he's gone. And he can make you move. He's elusive in short and tight space. In open space, he can shake you and go. So his speed is going to be the difference in this game. I don't think they've faced a running back this fast this far into the season. So it's going to be interesting to see how they break that down.
You know, it's funny. You talk about Detroit and Jim Schwartz as a defensive-minded head coach, yet defensively is where they have their problems. You're now the offensive coordinator for the Rams. You're Pat Shurmur. You're Dick Curl. How do you take advantage?
Well, I think that's a little bit of a miscue because what happens is they're tied for second in the National Football League for takeaways. You know, they have the interception and the turnover ratio going pretty good in their side. But what happens is the offenses turn over the balls. There's been penalties to turn the ball back over to their opponents, which puts the defense in a bind, and that's what's going on right now. This is a good defense. They're scrappy. They fly around. They can cover you deep. You know, their safeties come downhill. Their linebackers are a little bit more aggressive on the lateral movement and in coverage. They need to be a little bit more aggressive coming downhill to fit in behind that front four. But I'll tell you, these guys are aggressive, they fly around, and they're fast on defense, and that's a Jim Schwartz defense.
So there you have it. Tony will join Randy Carricker and Rick Venturi for the pregame Sunday morning at 9. Then at noon, it's all the action with Steve Savart and DeMarco Farr. Tony will rejoin myself and Jim Hannafin for postgame after the game on 101 ESPN. For Tony Softli, I'm Cliff Saunders. This has been the Softli Scouting Report on 101ESPN.com.